What's going on, guys? This is episode 10 and we're going to continue work on that motor in this episode. I'm still waiting on the part that I broke in the previous episode. If you haven't seen the previous episode, click at the link in the description. But yeah, so we're waiting on that part. I can't put together the shift assembly, the shift lever assembly until we get that part. But the other side of the motor, which we'll be flipping this frame around here in a moment, has the whole generator and stator setup, which ties into the electrical. So we're going to be working with that whole side and the electrical in this episode here to start, and we'll finish off by putting together the shift assembly once that part comes in. So here we go. First thing I need to do is get my parts laid out here on the bench. These go with the sprocket right here. Stator cover, stator. I also need the flywheel assembly. Last thing here is the mounting hardware for the stator and the flywheel right there. And now we are set to go. Alright, so now the stator goes onto here, and it goes. There's a timing mark on the original one, and I made an exact copy of that, measuring its distance between different points on here, and marked this stator so that I don't have issues with timing. And it lines up with this little line right here. You can barely see it, but there's a little line in this portion sticking out, kind of proud. The screws, so we gotta line that up. Also, there's a rubber grommet, which I should put a little bit of grease on. Something like that.
I feel like you need a tree light.
Yeah.
Let's see where if I help.
Can you see? Alright, so there's
Oh yeah, it's way better.
One screw. There's only two screws that hold this on. So here comes the second one. And they don't have a torque spec. The manual just says tighten securely. Yeah, I gotta be able to see. Now I'm gonna center the thing out. You can see it's not centered on the shaft here. And I'm gonna, oh, that's a little too tight. Get it all squared away with the alignment of the timing. About like that. And then we're going to tighten these quote unquote securely. And now I just have to get this rubber grommet fitted in there correctly. Before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of grease on it. Now, just a little bit. It's like Bob Ross of motorcycles. It's a happy tree. Here and there, there and here. Beat it!
Where did that come from?
That's what he does. He gets violent with the paintbrush. Alright. There, that slides in like that. And it looks like it wants to come out. It so desperately wants to come out, so we'll have to micromanage that as we go here. But that's secure on there. So
Minus
except
that
that. And I greased it, so now it's really easy to come in, go in and pop out. Okay, here comes the flywheel. One of the few parts I didn't replace. And I got the the Woodruff key up the keyway, up on the flywheel, and the Woodruff key up on the stator. And this is one of those finger pinchers here because it's magnetic, so it wants to slam home. So luckily it's not nearly as strong as a street bike. A new washer, come on, brand new bolt. Everything is black on this motorcycle now. Now, here comes the fun part. The flywheel holding tool, which is this tool, in order to hold on to the flywheel so that I can tighten that to the spec. I'm gonna need someone to help me. So, because this goes on here like this, and that's all fine and dandy, but it starts to turn the flywheel at some point, and then someone has to hold on to it with the holding tool. I can grab a hold of it like this. And then I'm gonna turn this in a way that I can easily hold it. And now you're free to tighten. Flywheel holding tool. Whoa!
Ready?
You're taking it from me. Hang on. Okay, go. Okay, now for the cover. And the cover is gonna go on just like this, but we have to get this. Oh, there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a gasket that I'm holding on to. This has to go in. Then the cover can get into place. And I'll probably have to take the cover off later because there's going to be a clutch cable. I could get the clutch cable out and put it through there right now so I don't have to do it later.
It looks very nice, the black and the silver though. I like that you have, like, this is black with silver, this is black with silver. Some of your silver has black on it. Like, you're integrating it really well. This bike, I think it should definitely have yellow on it.
I can put yellow on
Or
it.
green, like a
I can do yellow on the wheels and yellow on the graphics and yellow on the seat. Brand new Motion Pro clutch cable, and we're just going to quickly lay it into place here. And then I'll bother with routing it and all that fun stuff later on, but I just wanted to get it in between here before we tighten down the cover. And there's actually a way to do this. To slide the boot up, slip on the bushing over the cable, bushing onto there, and then the boot back down.
I was wondering, could we just snake it and then push it through?
Maybe, if I can get the end through.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah.
I might be able to snake it through. Come on, boot.
Boot.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. And then it goes in like that.
Good job.
Okay, there's no torque spec for these, we just learned, so it says tighten securely, and these are supposed to be originally from the original manufacturer. These are Phillips head screws. So, and because I'm using stainless steel fasteners instead, I'm going to be gentle and slow with these so that we don't have an issue with the stainless steel material. And I guess I'll go in a star pattern here. Number 2 going in. Last one. Okay, the next step is to get these hooked in to here, and in order to do that, I'm just going to put a little dielectric grease on my connections, and then we'll go from there. Grease. Yeah. It's electrical conductor. And there's a so here, there's a tube there.
I don't know if you're able to see this, but I'm just going to quickly drop a spark plug in here. And I'm not even going to torque it or anything. I'm just basically doing it to plug the hole. I got some anti-seize on the threads, because a little anti-seize on a spark plug is generally a good idea. Time for the drive sprocket, the front sprocket. Just this black one here. Gee, I wonder why he chose black. And it goes on just like that. The washer goes on, and a brand new nut. I'm not going to be able to tighten this down without the clutch all situated. There's no way that I'm going to be able to tighten that without the clutch being on, because it turns the whole transmission, and the only thing that would normally stop the transmission from turning would be either the clutch hub or the drivetrain, meaning the chain and the rear sprocket, which is probably the best option for me, is to tighten that when I go for the chain and rear sprocket, and then at that point I can fold up the washer. There is one last piece here to the puzzle. This goes like that. Once the chain's installed, it's a chain guard. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly put it in place, and then we'll come back and tighten it again after the chain has been installed. Now the top bolt until we get the drivetrain set up.
It's been a while since I've recorded anything, and the reason is because of that broken bolt. It really put us dead in the water. So it's been a couple weeks. I ordered the last one I could find on the internet. Look at how old this is. It's been sitting around for 15 years, or 25 years for that matter. And now we're able to get back into the shift mechanism and start with rebuilding this thing. So that's what we're gonna do. Not gonna waste any time. We've got the engine in the frame, as you saw, and now we're gonna put the shift mechanism into the engine, and then hopefully the clutch, hub, and housing, the clutch plates, and all that fun stuff. So here we go. Okay, we're gonna have to work together here. I'm gonna be in the way a lot of you being able to see, so I'll try to move the camera around, and I'll try to make it easy for you to see. I'm working down in here, so hopefully I'm not in the way too much. It's a brand new needleberry Yamaha part
That's
number.
not even a thing. Down. Focus.
Needle bearing. And then transmission oil. Onto the needle bearing. Just like that. But there's moly grease on the inside, so we're good to go. Oh yeah.
Guess next.
That's nice.
Comes the big ass freaking clutch hub basket thing.
Whoa.
There it goes. It went right in like it was meant for that spot. Yeah, it's in.
Install outer thrust washer and seat it against the clutch housing.
The outer thrust washer is also a brand new Yamaha part.
Identify the washer by referring to the measurements made during removal.
Yeah, I identified it already as a washer.
It goes right there. Alright, here we go. Over the splines of the main shaft, so you have to mate it up correctly. One of these days.
Ooh, shiny.
There we go. Oh, that's why, because there's only one way it can go on.
Well, there you go.
Like that.
Perfect.
Brand new washer. I gotta set this up.
Is that gonna hurt that right there?
It will if we're not careful.
Later?
Not yet.
Did you set it?
Yes.
Hi.
Okay,
My turn.
your turn.
Good, one more. Good, perfect.
What are you doing?
I'm bending this thing down. Just trying not to chew up the metal by doing this. So I'm being careful.
There you go. I saw it move. Good job.
That's about as good as she's gonna get right there.
Welcome to Cooking a Clutch with Andrew.
Cooking clutch.
We're gonna make ourselves a 12 by 11 by 7 by 1.5 inch clutch cake.
A 9 by 13. An
11,
8 by 8.
11 by 7 by 1.5 inch.
Okay, ready?
I just realized they print them on the bottom backwards so you can read them through the inside.
Yeah.
What's the first ingredients?
Install the clutch plates as followed.
What kind of clutch? This kind of clutch. This is the only kind of clutch that still is manufactured for my kind of clutch.
You mean for your bike?
Yes.
All friction disc, then clutch plate.
So friction disc, then clutch plate, then friction disc, then clutch plate. That's how it goes. All right, so we're gonna give it a little bit of oil in the bottom of our pan.
Oh my gosh, we really are cooking.
And we're gonna just give it a nice coat of oil.
Why are you putting that in the bottom? That's so weird.
And then if this pan is too narrow, I'm gonna be annoyed. Here is a friction disc. Oh, it's barely wide enough. And then we're gonna put a little oil on top of our friction disc.
I don't like anything that's happening.
Just like that. A big friction disc pancake.
We're starting gear.
I'm aware.
Left-handed weirdness.
We're making more clutches. We're adding a layer to our clutch cake. It's a layered clutch cake. Clutchy.
You're getting oil all over
cork clutch material. Well, this is bullshit. I have to wait. I don't want to wait.
I love waiting. You have to coat. 12 hours later.
Look at the table. Tell me they're supposed to be.
7 clutch plates, 8 friction fiber ones.
That's it. That's the clutch cake. Like, this makes me want to eat pancakes.
Just because you're strict.
Clutch cakes. Mmm. Oh, I want some. Oh my god. Can I just eat these for dinner?
Ew.
These are just metal. They don't need... They will get transition oil, but they don't need to be soaked. There would be no point in soaking them ahead of time. Alright, we got our clutch cakes, and we're ready to put them into the clutch.
Did you call them clutch cakes?
They are thoroughly baked.
Don't put that on your lap. You're gonna get oil.
It's got oil. I'm gonna put it on the ground. Friction disc first. But it doesn't matter which way they go in, I guess, huh? They are, as you would say, universal?
It says 63. Figure 63.
Oh, but this goes in there like this. Friction disc first. Then a metal clutch plate, which is one of these.
There you go, now you can see.
Oh, I was hoping you would do it.
There you go, you can see.
And one of these is, you've got to get oil too. Try not to get a staple into my clutch. That would be really disastrous. And what I'm going to do is just dip them in the leftover oil from the little baking dish.
Put a towel on the ground.
And then this goes in there like that. There are teeth and they mesh. Come on. I believe in you. There we go. And now, another friction disc.
There.
These are so particular. Which, I'm putting these all in exactly the same way. I don't know if that's the right choice.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, I don't know. Guess what I could have done was stacked them all up and tried to do them one at... I don't think that would have worked though. Because of this situation here. Can't even get one on. It's easier said than done, isn't it?
Oh, it's pretty easy to me. It's like a puzzle. Pieces together.
You'd probably be better at this than me. Building a clutch, building a clutch. This is the thing that makes a clutch.
You literally about me.
Sounded a little bit like complaining.
Sounds a little bit like murder.
Whisk. The last clutch plate and the last friction disc. How do you words? Just like that. Long push rod goes through the center here. Actually goes through the entire width of the motor to the other side. Now we have the short push rod, which is just this little push rod. It's like a flathead. And then it has a ball bearing that lives inside in between the long and the short push rod. So I put some oil in there and then I just dropped the ball bearing into that hole. And now it slips, the sleeve of the short push rod slips over the top of the rod, which I had already installed. And it goes just like that. So now it's time for the pressure plate over the top here. And the only thing with the pressure plate is you gotta just line it up with these threaded holes. And it goes right over the top and it holds all the plates in place. So there we go. Okay, now I have my tray full of springs and bolts here, still in the oil. And I'm just gonna install one spring at a time. These actually are aftermarket springs. They're a little harder than a normal spring. So I may find a little bit of challenge in pulling in the clutch lever after this. But as things wear in, they'll get slightly gentler over time. So. Brand new bolts. I'm gonna have to measure them all at some point to make sure they're all the same tension. This type of thing is what the T-handles really excel at. Pushing, turning, as opposed to a ratchet, which is annoying to try and use for this type of application. I have to install the dowel pins into the crankcase. One goes there, a little bit of air pressure, and one goes down there. Gasket time. The only things that are going to hold this gasket on right now, I'm trying not to get too much oil on it, are the dowel pins. So I don't know if this is going to work the way we got it set up, but I'm going to try and see if this will work by installing this.
Put that side on first.
I guess so. And now we're up against the dowel pin over here.
And there's a screw
over
right there.
Oh yeah. That screw can come out. Can allow it to come out. And then what I have to do is actually reach down in here and spin the water pump until the gears mesh. Is not currently how they're set up. I think I may have gotten it here. Oh, there it went. There's a whole thing that goes in here that we have to deal with before I can call this good. This is the governor. I don't know if I could do it this way. It might not work this way. Might need to be installed before I put the cover on. After some careful thought and consulting the pictures and trying to bend my mind around the idea that things are backwards in images, I have determined that I have installed this little piece facing the wrong direction in here, which is a shame because I put thread lock on it. There we go. And then I'm actually going to thread one of them in to hold everything in place. And then the other one will get thread lock. The first one will come back out. And we'll go from there. Thread lock for the other one. Just a medium strength is what we're after here. That's so funny.
It looks like he's like, oh no, what's going on? He's got one eye and the other eye, and it's a little bit like a frog.
It does. Sad frog.
He's a sad frog.
There it is. That's the whole source of the problem. Why we couldn't get the whole thing together. The governor, I don't know, can you see this? This groove where there's this spacer, trying to get thread lock off of my fingers here, is where this piece resides, and it was way out here on the spring. And so when this gets installed, this bar goes in that groove. And it was like out here, and I couldn't figure out why it was so far out. So let's see now. Should be able to get this lined up and in its hole. And everybody should play nice of a successful. Oh! Slipped in. So now this thing moves up and down and it pushes on that spring. And that's the correct installation for that. What a pain in the ass. Holy cow. Okay, back to the motorcycle. Okay, trying again. Making sure my dowels are in the right spot. Making sure my gasket didn't go walking about. Now I can tell that it's the governor, the water pump, and I made a mistake by installing this cover too early, because now I can't grab the water pump impeller and turn it. So what I have to do, without a choice, is to take this outer cover off, and that's unfortunate. And remember, part of what's holding on that governor is this cover. So I'm gonna have to make sure that I don't accidentally drop the governor out of its home when I take this off. There's only, 3 or 4 different things I need to keep track of. That stayed in place, luckily. And now, because the governor's in place, I don't have a good way to get to the water pump to turn it and make it right. Meshing gears. Problem. I suspect, though, now that I have the clutch on, that I might be able to rotate the whole thing to get that water pump. Aha! If I move the Kickstarter without this secured, it kicks the cover off and then the spring out. So I'm giving it some tension on this side so that it will be okay to turn it. And I might get that long water pump bolt and put it in. Maybe not perfectly. Alright. So the idea is that I rotate this and it rotates all of the gears, allowing my water pump gear to mesh.
just enough to allow the water pump gear to mesh. Yep, there we are. And now I can install the bolts. Now we're just going to snug up all of the bolts. Boy, that seems tight.
Well, you know what too tight feels like.
Yes, I do.
We've been there, done that. If you don't think it's... Okay.
It's a snugness that's...
That was the bolt.
You think so?
It's a different noise.
Yeah, it definitely loosened when I did that. Let's take that one out and look at it before we go too far. It may have just been breaking through a little bit of rough thread material. Yeah, it was like breaking thread lock. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with this one. It's like not catching. I don't think I have any threads in there. I think that it ruined the aluminum threads. There's only a little bit of threads there. What was there? Here, I'm gonna zoom out.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What? I don't get it. How does that happen?
Hey guys, we're going to end the episode here as we close out this pretty major mistake where we broke up a few threads inside of the engine case. In the next episode, we're going to be addressing this problem right up front, and we'll pick up right where we left off right here. So I want to say thanks for watching as always, and you'll see me overcome this obstacle in the next episode. Thanks again.